Hello, I'm Sophie Cartwright and I'm going to be interviewing. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm the Reverend Nick Heron. I'm the rector of WEM. Been here now since partway through 2014. This is one of the three churches I look after. I'm also the rector of Lee Brockhurst and West London Redcastle.
Okay, so I really appreciate you for coming in to answer these questions, but today we're going to be talking about your RAF experience.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you?
Of course it is. Yeah.
Okay, so how long have you served in the RAF? And
Served-
what's your role?
Well, I was served as a chaplain. In other words, vicar, rector, priest, minister, father in the RAF. They're normally called generically Padres.
Okay.
For 27 years. I was a parish priest in Stockport first, and then joined the Air Force. I thought I was joining for 4 years, but I obviously enjoyed it so much I stayed for 27 before I came here.
So that also linked to my next question, but was joining the RAF your plan?
Not at all, no. I mean, my plan was I did my church training, feeling called to work for the church, and I had a really great time. But I had such a great time in my first parish, I couldn't find anything that could hold a candle to it, so I started looking wider afield. And you know those round robin letters you get at Christmas? Somebody wrote me one of those, and they just joined the RAF as a padre. And they listed the things they liked, and I liked them. They listed the things they didn't like, and I liked them even more. So I took it from there.
So 25 years is a long time, but do you ever wish that you're still involved with the RAF?
Yeah, well, I would if I let myself. The fact that RAF Shawbury's just down the road, and those helicopters keep flying overhead, and I'll see somebody walking around WEM in the uniform, is a reminder. So in a sense, the fact that it's almost omnipresent for a town like WEM near to a great station like Shawbury means it's never quite gone away. But at other times, I do. Like now, I'm thinking, oh, bloody hell, yeah, I'd like to be back in again. But you can't live your life like that, can you? You've got to move on. The biggest difference for me is in my day-to-day work, I tend to spend, during the working part of the day, whatever that is, although I'm busy as often in the evening as during the day, and certainly at church for Sunday morning, it's not a stereotype. I tend to spend most of my time with older people who've retired, something like work, and an awful lot of time with women, which is no bad thing. Whereas most of my time in the military, I spent it with people younger, men, and that's a big difference. And I went from being the oldest member of the church congregation in most stations for the last 10 or 12 years to here sometimes being the youngest. So that age profile and at the moment the gender profile as well, that's a big difference. I think also, very clearly in the military, people tend to move quickly, think quickly, or speak a bit more quickly. I actually find myself speaking more quickly now than I probably would do if I weren't thinking about where I wanted to move. So it's a very kinetic environment, it's a very energetic, very energised environment. If you walk down my high street, it's very or indeed looking after the people who come to church, because those are the people who get to know. As a military chaplain, usually you would spend the vast bulk of your time looking after people who don't go to church. That's the biggest difference. And why should that be the case? Well, often, would it be fair to say that people between the ages of 20 and 40 are that age bracket in society in general that tend not to go to church? Yeah, and I don't think that's a transitory thing. I think that's been around for a good long time. It's not that it doesn't matter, it's just that life gets in the way, and all kinds of other things do. So, yeah, mainly, overwhelmingly sometimes dealing with people who don't come to the church for explicit reasons, but your support for them is more implicit. Perhaps the only good question you didn't ask me is how things have changed in my time in the RAF. Because 27 years is a long time, it's a quarter of a century, isn't it? And things do change. But now the military, thank goodness they are equal opportunities. In fact, when I joined, you two wouldn't believe this, but when I joined, there was actually a separate Women's Royal Air Force. Appalling. And if a woman became pregnant, she had to leave. And had to ask permission of a commanding officer before she got married. And that was only 1986, 87, for goodness sake. And there were quite a few trades that weren't open to women. Now the RAF, there is no job in the RAF that a woman can't do, and that's absolutely right, you know. I was at Finningley, which is Doncaster. It's now South Yorkshire, or is it Robin Hood Airport, I think it's called. But it was a big flying training station, and it trained all the navigators in the Air Force. And it was in my first 6 months there that they introduced the first female navigators. Until then, women couldn't be navigators. Now they can fly anything, you know. And the sheer bitter and actually warped sexism that was around then when these first girls came through. You know, we'd believe it, but I would hope you two wouldn't. So this new recruiting campaign, is going on from that and saying, you know, it doesn't matter LGBT, and also that the RAF and the Army will provide emotional support as well. And that, you know, that will all be there, because there is this kind of idea that if you're in the military, you're rough, you're tough, and that is putting off a lot of potentially really good recruits. Because yeah, I mean, you do have to be pretty robust physically, and you've got to see things and do things that aren't nice. But that doesn't mean to say you can't be empathetic as well. You know, you can be as hard as bloody nails and still actually cry. That's all right. And it's balancing that really. But you can imagine some of the old and bold. Oh, it wasn't like that in my day, you know. You've got to be a real man to join the army, you know. Well, yeah, real men cry as well, don't they? Yeah. You know, and actually, you put on different. We all put on different faces, don't we, depending on what we're doing. And soldiers can do the same, you know. What you don't want is a machine. At the same time, it's no good if you break down at somebody sneezes, you know. But it can be both, but there was a time when, and the homophobia in the Air Force when I joined, it was diabolical. Huge change, yeah, massive, and all to the good. Yeah, all to the good. And a very big shift in. It is. I don't have to say this because I'm not a company man anymore. You know, it really is an equal opportunities employer. It doesn't matter if you're gay now. It did. I mean, certainly when I joined, it was very much a white island, and not necessarily the Air Force's fault, because 3 of its big recruiting bases always have been people. You only join something if you know it exists, and most RAF stations are out in the sticks because they need to be, because you don't build a fast jet runway in the middle of a city, do you know? I mean, the reason Shawbury's here is because it's in the countryside, so the helicopters can fly over uninterrupted airspace, and if they do, God forbid, drop out of the sky, they're likely to land, more likely to land on a sheep than a school, you know. So, and that's mirrored across the board. So, and the recruiting base is from around military stations, because if the idea is going to come into your head at some point, if you live in Wem, the Air Force could be a career because you've got Shawbury. But if you come from Manchester, what's going to make you think about the RAF? But of course, those areas like this tend to be more monochrome, white Caucasian, don't they? The other big recruiting thing is people join the military because their parents were in the military. It's a family thing. And that becomes self-perpetuating, doesn't it? And then also, we do recruit heavily from the cadet organisations. And sadly, one of the bastions, well, not sadly, but it's only sad in the sense that it's not as strong elsewhere, but one of the bastions of the cadet organisations is the public schools, with their white privilege as well, mainly. The RAF is always, and it's one of the things that did attract me to it as well, it was always one of the more egalitarian of the three services. I think probably because it's the newest. It's 100 years old this year. With being the newest, it was the least embedded in the establishment. And also because flying has always been at the teeth of technology, it's been the most meritocratic. I would say anyway. And I am biased in that sense, but I think that is the case. But even so, there was an assumption that, yeah, the officers were the grammar school types, and very possibly from public school, whereas the secondary modern and the rougher grammar schools where you join as a junior rank, you know, there was a bit of that, a bit too much of that. I think that's much less the case. But you'd say that for any job, wouldn't you? You'd say that for GPs, you'd say that for vicars. You'd even say it now for sportsmen, because too many top sportsmen come from boarding schools because they've got the privilege of all the sports fields and everything, don't they? Which is quite wrong, but it's... Well, look at our MPs. I mean, I think as society is getting more egalitarian, well, opportunity. People are aware that if you don't make opportunities for everybody, you lose some really good people.